Well, ladies and gentlemen, greatness awaits. The PlayStation 4 is here. Yay. Okay, let's I'm going to do another unboxing video. What we've got in front of us at the moment is the mega bundle that Sony put together for this particular console. And as you can see from the box, it includes Killzone. We've got 2 controllers, there's the Killzone game, and the PlayStation Eye camera. And also they've put a little note saying it includes the Playroom, which is a nice little extra, and 14 days with no additional costs for PlayStation Plus. The box is huge, absolutely massive. Let me, I'll put this into comparison. That's the Xbox One box, which I did the unboxing of the Xbox One, which we did last week. I'll move it down this side, you can kind of see it's, you know, it's massive. The PlayStation box compared to the Xbox One box. You can kind of get a bit of an idea of what it's like there. But anyway, let's do the unboxing of the console. Let's see what we've got inside. So the box itself, like I say, is big. There's not a lot of information. It's just the same thing on either side. We've got some content information on the side here, which I can show you. So the console itself, 2 PS4 DualShock 4 controllers. PlayStation Eye, so yeah, PlayStation 4 system, DualShock 4 wireless controller ×2, PlayStation camera, mono headset, HDMI cable, printed materials, USB cable, AC power cord, and Killzone Shadowfall. And on the back of the box, we've got the usual. Okay, so we've got the synopsis really about Killzone Shadowfall on this side. The Playroom, open the doors to the Playroom, bring new ways to play to your living room with a pre-installed collection of augmented reality experiences using the PlayStation camera. Great, okay. Get the most of the PS4 with the PlayStation camera, because God knows probably nobody else will, because it's not an included peripheral by default, so I can't see it being a major thing going forward. Share and stream your epic triumphs with the DualShock 4 share button. Stay connected to your games using your Sony Xperia Z phone, I presume, but obviously they've got iOS apps and everything else out at the moment. Keep on playing, which is quite neat this, the remote play between the Vita and the PlayStation 4, which I'll check out and maybe do a video of later on. Challenge your friends, PSN. Watch the latest movies and films. Okay, so let's take this out, I guess. Okay, so we've got a box inside another box. Okay, so that's the hollow shell, the carcass opened up. So I'm presuming that's the console, so we'll get to that in a second. Now, how does this open up? So first of all, we have the camera. Thought it was going to be something else. So here's the PlayStation camera for the PS4, and it's actually quite small. Not what I was expecting. Not entirely sure what that is, but we'll find that out later, I guess. Yeah, this is a lot smaller than the Kinect for Xbox One, that's for sure. It's a dinky little camera. So we've got 2 lenses, obviously. I'm not sure whatever else is behind this plastic, but we'll look at that later. That's the camera itself. The connector on it is obviously some kind of proprietary connector, I'm sure. Yeah, like a derivative of the USB. Okay, put that to one side. Okay, what else have we got in here? This just opens out, yeah, okay. Killzone Shadowfall, there we go. PS4, only on PlayStation. In the shadow of the wall, nothing is clear. Okay. We've got our first controller. So this is my first time actually getting the PS4 controller in my hands. And now, the DualShock 3, which I've got here. I hated this controller. Absolutely hated this controller. I played games like The Last of Us and everything else. Really enjoyed the games, really good games. But this controller, particularly these triggers and the looseness of the analog sticks, just never worked for me. Drove me nuts. But I've heard really good things about this controller, the DualShock 4, so let's have a look. So first thing, it feels a bit bigger than the DualShock 3. And yeah, it's got longer edges on the bottom. Width is pretty similar, to be fair, but they have widened, spaced out the analog sticks. They don't look like they're quite as high as the old DualShock 3 either, which is nice. The buttons are definitely a lot closer than the DualShock 3. And we have this touchpad, this clickable touchpad as well. And of course, start and select are now gone for share and options. We've got a new D-pad, well, regular kind of D-pad. Buttons feel nice. But let's have a look at the analog sticks. So first thing, they feel 100 times better compared to the old DualShock 3. They're very similar to the Xbox One, Xbox 360, because obviously that controller got a lot of praise for its analog sticks. D-pad was a different situation, but that still feels like a good Sony D-pad. But the triggers, they feel miles better. Much better than the old DualShock 3. They don't have the actual rumble feature inside the triggers as the Xbox One controller does, but still they're nice and soft and clicky. And of course we've got our keypad here, we can click on either side. But yeah, first impressions, I mean, obviously playing games like Killzone will be interesting because you know, that's where the analog sticks will really come into their own. But first impressions are it's very nice. What I will say as well is that I can feel this is kind of this rubberized material they've got over the buttons. I've seen plenty of reports of this cracking inside the edges in along here, and then this basically just peeling off. I have a feeling I can actually see that happening, especially if I'm not too bad myself, but I know other people have really sweaty hands, and I would imagine that would have a detrimental effect on the actual controller itself. But you know, that's given time, we'll see. So we've got the there's a built-in battery pack obviously in these, so you can't change them, unlike the Xbox One, which is a shame. But the DualShock 3 was the same, and I never really had any issues with it. I believe the battery life is only about between 7 and 10 hours compared to almost double that, I think, if not triple that for the old DualShock 3, which is a shame. But we've got the light on the side here which interacts with the camera. Mini USB port, you say the share and options buttons. We've got a microphone, PS Home button, extension cable for microphones, and earphones as well, which are they're not proprietary as to my knowledge. And some people, I heard somewhere, you might be able to plug your Apple iPhone or iPod, whatever else, earphones in with the microphone, and that would work. I'm not quite sure. We'll check it out maybe. But first impressions are it is light years ahead of the DualShock 3, because I hated that controller. Okay, so that's the DualShock 4. What else have we got in here? We've got some notes. Actually, not a lot. That's pretty much it. It's all that big box just for a little bit of a manual, the game, the controller, and the camera. So let's put that to one side and open up the main box. And here we have. Welcome to the world of PlayStation, your quick start guide. Okay, great, thank you. We have our PlayStation, our second PS4 DualShock 4 controller. And underneath here, a selection of cables. They're all just jumbled up together. So we've got a power cable, standard 2-pin plug on the end, same as PS3, which is nice. There's our mono, which looks pretty flimsy, our headset and microphone. At least it's got some blue like branding, I suppose, like the old, like the PlayStation 4, I guess. We have USB, micro USB connection cable for the controller, obviously, to charge it, and a HDMI cable. Wow, Sony giving us a HDMI cable. That's nice. I think that's a first. So put that in there for now. And here's the console itself. First thing to say, just picking it up, it's light. It's not too heavy at all. It's small as well. It's quite a bit smaller than the Xbox One. How do we open this up then? Okay. And here we have the rather odd-shaped PlayStation 4. So here's our console. Again, I said this with the Xbox One video, I am not a fan of this two-tone gloss and matte finish on these consoles. I wish they were either one or the other, preferably matte finish. So that's just a fingerprint hog, and it just scrapes easily, I'm sure. I mean, the Wii U was the same, was just all gloss, and the amount of like scratch marks and stuff you get on it just way too easily. But I have to say, it's an elegant design system, that's for sure. It's not the biggest system in the world. I mean, I'm holding it quite easily. It's not very heavy. We've got obviously our Sony mark on the side, PS4 here. We've got the world's smallest, I can actually show you just in here, the power button and disc button. It's actually capacitive, so you don't actually press anything. But there is a power mark and a capacitive mark in there. We've got two USB 3.0 super speed connections here. There's obviously a Blu-ray drive. Not a lot on this side, just markings for HDMI, DTS HD, Dolby True HD, Blu-ray, which you can't really see, you can just make out there in the light. And on this side, nothing. Some patent marks are written in there. And the back's quite similar, not a lot really to it, it's quite bare. The one thing is a bit of a strange decision again, they've put feet here and here on the top. So when you actually rest it down, it kind of wobbles a little bit, which is a bit strange. Don't know why they didn't do something to even them out, but never mind. I've seen other people complain about it, doesn't really bother me too much. And on the back, so we've got PS4, there's a power brick, there's a power connector, sorry I should say. We've got optical out, HDMI out, Ethernet, gigabit Ethernet, and auxiliary, which is obviously for the PlayStation Eye, that same connection. We've got lots of vents on the side. First thing I'll say is bravo to Sony for getting the power brick inside the device. No massive power brick external to the device itself like the Xbox 360 and the Xbox One. They've stuck to the principles with regards to the PS3, kept the power brick inside. The other thing is, vent-wise, there isn't really a lot of vents on it. You've got some, I can see some open connections, some slots underneath here, underneath on this side as well. But apart from that, everything's blowing out the back, which is an interesting way of doing things, I guess. It must be really ergonomically designed to get the airflow straight through. I don't know if anybody saw the teardown that Sony actually did of the console, which was very, very good, I thought. And the main board is very, very bare for what I thought it would be. You know, there wasn't a lot of redundant capacitors, resistors, all that kind of stuff on the actual board around the chip itself. So they obviously give plenty of scope maybe to make a PS4 Slim in time once they actually get the manufacturing process down for the Jaguar chips that these consoles use. But yeah, impressions, it's very, very nice. It's a nice looking console. Let's move this to one side. Let's do some comparisons. So we got the we've got the PS4 there. Let's bring in the old George Foreman grill of the PS3. So there's a relatively good size comparison. It's yeah, it's not too bad regarding height and everything else. I'm not sure about the sloped angular look of the console, you know, on the front and on the back. Maybe it'll grow on me in time, I'll see. I mean, I was never a fan of this console. I thought it was an ugly looking beast anyway. But, you know, that you kind of just grew with it and over time and ignored it. It was just there. But there's the kind of size differences. It's relatively close to the old PS3. The old fat PS3. Here's the Slim PS3, the second generation. And the footprint is remarkably similar, I think, between the Slim PS3 and the new PS4, which is impressive. You have to applaud Sony for what they've done, and the power that they've managed to harness inside this little box. I mean, time will tell when I use it how hot it gets and how loud the fans get, but that's still mightily impressive. And already I can see smudge marks all over it, which is nice. So let's put that to one side as well. And finally, of course, we have to compare it against last week's video, the Xbox One. So what you're not really seeing is just how much taller the Xbox One is in comparison to the PS4. Let's let me try and illustrate that if I can. I don't know how well you're actually seeing that. Let me just pull this forward a bit. Okay. So in relative terms, there is quite a big difference in height between the Xbox One and also length in between the Xbox One and the PS4. But interestingly, the Xbox is just full of fan vents. That's what I was, you know, it's all a vent. There's vents on the side, vent on the other side, where there's very little ventilation going in and out of the PS4. Yet the PS4 is supposedly the faster machine. So heat could be an interesting issue for the PS4 in time. We'll play that by ear, I guess. But that is the unboxing of the Mega Bundle for the Sony PlayStation 4. I'm looking forward to checking it out, seeing what it can do. But the problem I have at the moment is, as much as I have these two consoles, the Xbox One has been sat there for a week. I haven't touched it. And I'll have a go on the PS4 tonight. But to be honest, the main thing I'm playing right now is Super Mario 3D World, which is absolutely phenomenal. So until I finish with them, maybe these two consoles will have to wait. But that is the unboxing of the Mega Bundle for the Sony PlayStation 4. And if you've got one, I hope you enjoy it and have good fun with it. I'm sure you will. And yeah, thanks for watching. If you liked the video, please rate and subscribe. And I'll catch you next time.